Alright guys, so we're going to go through this video. We did part 1 and I am interested in part 2. I have my cat here and hopefully she was kind of messing with the cords, so hopefully she doesn't do that again. No more doing that? No more doing that? Yeah, no more doing that. So we'll see how long she stays here. She'll watch it with us. But yeah. Oh, we didn't do an intro, so yeah.
I want some rest.
Yeah, man, that was a weak intro. I had to make sure the intro was right. All right, so let's go ahead and let's talk about this a little bit. Now before we do, as always, you know, I gotta do this really quick. If you guys want to support the channel, clanthemerchfan.com. By the way, I keep saying this. Big shout out to Omar, by the way. But I keep saying this. If you guys want a custom order, all you have to do is email me. Now, if you're wondering what a custom order is, it might be something as small as, hey, I want the front of the shirt to have a 3-inch on the left chest or whatever, and then I want a specific design on the back. Like, I'll make that happen. You might have to give me like even more time, but I'll make it happen. Or if there's an order in which you're like, look, because I only go up to 3X's right now, and you're like, look, I need a 5X or whatever, that's all good too. Just email me and we'll figure that thing out. All right. But just letting you guys know that right off the bat. All right, so let's go ahead and go through this video. Like I said, we visited the first one. It was terrible. Not a bad video, it was just terrible to go through it and relive it. But let's relive this. So now we're getting into the knit and grit. Is that nitty gritty? Knit and gritty? I don't know. Part 2 of this whole Kawhi Leonard fiasco. Don't know why we're still bringing this up, but hey, it's interesting nonetheless to kind of revisit. And if you think that we're gonna go through a 21-minute video at normal speed, think not. Oh, I think my cat's ready to go. You leaving? You leaving? She's not leaving. She's just gonna make us up. Come on. Yeah, she's not. I don't know what she's doing. All right, but yeah, there's no way we're going through a 21-minute video at normal speed. We're gonna do 1.5 in this B. All right, so let's go ahead and stop that. All right, let's go through this.
This can often be complicated. Typically, couples bond over their shared interests, whether that be a love for traveling or helping those in need. For Kawhi Leonard and the San Antonio Spurs, they fostered their connection on the court. Throughout their partnership, both Kawhi and the Spurs experienced a ton of success and proved San Antonio wasn't going anywhere. For 6 years, the introverted superstar and the Spurs seemed inseparable, until a mysterious quadriceps injury limited Kawhi's play, ultimately stripping the true essence of what held their relationship together: hooping. With Kawhi unable to perform, the usual story of greatness that surrounded the league's model franchise turned into a bizarre saga where a once strong connection collapsed, and in its place, beef that shifted the entire landscape of the NBA. During the 2017-18 season, Kawhi's quad became a major topic of discussion, and for good reason. After falling short to the Warriors in the 2017 conference finals, the Spurs looked to take another shot at the chip. Except, it's a little tougher to do that when your premier player starts the season rehabbing a newly revealed injury. The details of the injury were sparse, and as usual, on the extremely rare occasion Kawhi spoke, he didn't really say much. I mean, soon is not a medical time frame. After missing 27 games, Kawhi finally suited up in December 2017. While things initially looked tense between Kawhi and head coach Greg Popovich, the two were spotted sharing a laugh, calming any worries. As small as it is, the fact that Kawhi admitted to having some good old ha-has with his coach was evidence the relationship was fine. For the guy who literally branded his lack of emotions, simple laughter was truly noteworthy. Kawhi might have felt some type of way about playing limited minutes, but he understood his mission, and more than anything, the dude was hyped to finally be able to play again. His squad was thrilled too. As a teammate, how couldn't you be amped with bringing back a player that was fire at all aspects of the game? The Spurs had learned to operate in Kawhi's absence, but with him back on the floor, journalists believe the team could level up their play, ready.
The Spurs will be one of the most interesting teams in the league going forward. After 22 seasons of excellence, you'd think Popovich and Spurs fans have seen it all, but they've never had a savior drop in mid-season. Kawhi changes everything, and with it, could be better equipped to take on the super teams forming around them than last season. That's so true, bro. 2017 Kawhi was absolutely insane, dude. He was absolutely insane. It was so much fun to watch. God, I miss those days.
Ready to knock out the league's best. Except, San Antonio never got to experience their full potential. After playing just 9 games, Kawhi was shut down in January 2018. Reports at the time detailed Kawhi's quad rehab, which created problems within the team. Leonard and his camp supposedly ghosted the Spurs. San Antonio general manager R.C. Buford called bullshit, saying all parties were locked in together, but didn't hide his feelings, hammering how difficult the whole ordeal had been. Just for extra reassurance everything was cool, Buford flaunted Tony Parker's recovery from a similar injury like a proud father. No shade at all. Kawhi's camp rather, fully agreed with Buford, denying there was any tension. Sure, both sides squashed talks of beef, but it's important to note that during the 2017-18 season, the voices surrounding Kawhi started to pipe up. And often, the voice belonged to Kawhi's uncle, Dennis Robertson. When Kawhi hit the NBA, he kept a tight circle of people he trusted, including his uncle Dennis, who he built a special connection with through unfortunate circumstances. As a teenager, Kawhi's dad was shot and killed at a car wash he owned, leaving Robertson to fill the father figure role in Kawhi's life. Kawhi always felt comfortable turning to his uncle for advice, and depended on his knowledge appointing Dennis as his...
Wait, I don't remember this quote. With my dad passing away, there aren't too many men in the family, and he's a great guy to just talk to that has been through my experiences at my age. He's just been through life already. Good guy to talk to. I wonder where this is from.
Cheap business strategies. Although Uncle Denny made his first beef appearance speaking on behalf of his nephew in January 2018, the man was cooking up trouble behind the scenes long before.
He was. This is accurate.
August 2017, a month before the Spurs officially revealed Kawhi's injury, reporter Michael C. Wright uncovered that San Antonio fully handed over control of Kawhi's rehab to his people, namely Robertson and agent Mitch Frankel. Kawhi's uncle calling the shot seemed harmless, but San Antonio was shook by the idea that Robertson purposely tried to ruin Kawhi's relationship with the team to land him elsewhere. Maybe watching your franchise star take medical advice from a doctor affiliated with the Philadelphia 76ers would for sure be reason for concern. Many people viewed Uncle Dennis as a finesser, leveraging Kawhi's success for his own get-rich-quick scheme, which Robertson of course denied. Anyways, with full control of the situation, Leonard freely sought out...
I thought that we only thought this. This makes me happy. With this channel, are they pro Spurs? The secret base channel? Because I feel like, I mean, maybe it's just me being in my bubble. I just thought that only Spurs fans thought that way. I didn't think a lot of other people knew about Uncle Dennis. I thought it was more so like Spurs fans that knew he's a finesser and he's like, yeah, he just took complete control of everything.
Outside opinions and spent weeks away from the team rehabbing in New York. San Antonio sent staffers to keep a watchful eye, but Kawhi's people in the Spurs really didn't chop it up much. Wright recalled on the Back-to-Back podcast an instance where Kawhi's camp moved him to an entirely different part of the building when San Antonio's brass came to check Kawhi's status.
Some of the Spurs brass went out to see him in New York. As soon as those guys arrived to the building, Kawhi's people grabbed him and sequestered him to another part of the building, so the Spurs people couldn't even see him.
I'm all for a classic game of hide and seek, but if you have to go through all that, there's clearly a problem. While those shenanigans weren't revealed till after the season, during the 2018 All-Star break in February, Popovich shut down any optimism of Kawhi returning for the year. Pop wanted to keep it real about bringing Kawhi.
I remember this. I remember this quote. I'll be surprised if he returns this season. Well, we only have X number of games left in the season, and he's still not ready to go. So that's why I'm just trying to be honest and logical. That was out of nowhere, man. I was like, what the heck?
To keep it real about bringing Kawhi back, but his statement was somewhat surprising considering it was almost simultaneously reported that Kawhi had been medically cleared by the team and the ball was in his court. Kawhi didn't join the active roster, but returned to San Antonio.
By the way, I got some, and I've talked about this before, but I got some information from somebody that was directly involved. And when I mean directly involved, I mean they're like directly involved that would know everything. And they were not happy. Like the coaching staff, even through the midst of like Pop trying to keep his cool and everything, the coaching staff and everything, they were not happy with Kawhi. Like they were pretty angry, seething almost. So just to let you know that.
Later that month, with hopes of returning by late March. Back under the team's roof, Kawhi cleared the air, speaking to the media publicly for the first time in months. Leonard downplayed any friction, saying how could there be any beef with the Spurs when he talked to his coach every day? Kawhi couldn't exactly describe his quad pain, but expressed he would have definitely been on the court if he could. More importantly, when questioned if he would like to finish his career as a Spur, Kawhi confidently responded,
"Yeah, for sure."
Don't let the whispered
I remember that. I remember that. He lied to us.
Tone fool you. That's just how Kawhi spoke. As rumors flooded that Kawhi wanted out of San Antonio, finally hearing from him directly.
What is this? Say it louder for the haters in the back. Kawhi just spoke and said he wants to finish his career as a Spur. I am embarrassed at how... Is this the same person? No, it's not. I'm embarrassed at how emotional my reaction was to this tweet. But that's where we're at right now. I put my hands to my heart and everything. What? He doesn't speak much, but when he does, he says the right things. What? Today is going to be a good day. That is all. Spurs gang.
Directly was a gigantic leap in easing the minds of Spurs fans. Bringing a healthy Leonard back would have absolutely given San Antonio the best odds at keeping their 2 decades-long playoff streak alive. But it had to be awkward between Kawhi and his teammates when he constantly teased his return. Certainly awkward enough for the team to press him, holding a players-only meeting less than 2 weeks after Kawhi spoke to the media. emotions reportedly ran high, with several teammates expressing their concern over Kawhi's dedication to the team. Leonard supposedly stood his ground, saying he had good reason to rest. Kawhi lit practice up, showing
it wasn't about, see, that was the thing. This is all BS, and I think Kawhi was low-key finesse too. It wasn't about him resting. Like, he wasn't going to, like, film rooms. Like, that's what Manu said. Like, he wasn't even in the film room. He wasn't with the team at all. Like, he wasn't on the sidelines. I mean, as time went on, I mean, Popovich lost his wife, and he wasn't even there on the sidelines. Now, sure enough, I'm pretty sure I heard that he did call Popovich sometime after that, but he didn't even show up, man. He didn't even show up for his team. I thought that was really lame. I'm still not quite over that one.
Signs he was ready for a return, but members of the Spurs weren't having it. Manu Ginobili told reporters bluntly the team needed to move on without Kawhi because his pump fakes weren't helping. If Kawhi really wanted to be a part of the squad, Manu thought he needed to act like it.
Sometimes you feel like an alien to the core group, and you got to fight through it. You've got to make an effort to still be around. That's what I'm saying. And be part of the everyday topics, the good things and the bad things. You got to make an effort. And that's what That's what Manu is. I know exactly what Manu's saying, because when it came to Manu Ginobili, I mean, he was injured. I wouldn't say he was injury prone necessarily, but Manu Ginobili, there was many times where he was injured and he couldn't play. But he was still there all the time. He was still there. And then when he could play, I mean, he was ready. You know what I mean? The thing with Kawhi is, like, when you disappear like that, it doesn't matter how good you are. The cohesiveness of the group is just not going to be there. Like, you can't miss all season long and then just show up in the playoffs and we expect to win a championship. That's just not going to happen. But Manu Ginobili was always there, and that's why you get those performances from Manu when he has a cast on his arm and he can still perform. It's because he has been there, he has kept his mind moving, and been in the film room.
If Ginobili's remarks offered a peek at the severity of the situation, Parker kicked the door down with his thoughts about Kawhi days later. Parker suffered a ruptured left quadriceps tendon in the previous season, but has since returned to the team in late 2017, and was bewildered why Leonard wasn't playing, especially since he thought his injury was 100 times worse than Kawhi's. Parker then went on to sing the praises of the San Antonio staff, calling them the best medical team in the world. Sandwiched in between Parker and Ginobili's comments, Kawhi finally let his real thoughts fly. 4 days after the reported players-only meeting, Kawhi was asked if his health was the real reason he wasn't playing, and responded with a polite version of, "What the fuck else would it be?" Kawhi was
He said, I mean, why else would I not be playing? People are just looking for spin. I haven't been here long. I've been here 6 years. The Spurs have been here way longer than that. People are going to go with that take first. See, this is the issue, man. Like, that freaking Uncle Dennis, man, he created such a friction between the franchise and Kawhi. And I'm just going to take Kawhi as face value here. I think Kawhi genuinely, like, was being told in his ear, like, what the heck is up with your teammates going against you, Kawhi? Don't you see that they're plotting against you? I mean, he is straight up Palpatine, bro. This is terrible.
Wasn't done and fully unloaded the clip, mentioning how everyone tried to put a spin on the situation and that people were ready to eat up anything coming from San Antonio's side. But before Kawhi was fully able to eat through the Spurs, a San Antonio staffer swiftly ended the convo. Between the typically reserved Kawhi, now all of a sudden popping off at the mouth, and veteran teammates dissing him, the situation in San Antonio took a drastic turn. The question was no longer if Kawhi would play that season, but whether he'd be spotted in a Spurs uniform again, period. As the end of the regular season neared, Kawhi went back to New York for rehab, leaving Pop and the Spurs staff completely in the dark. Without Kawhi, the Spurs snuck into the playoffs, snatching the 7th seed to set up a matchup with Golden State. But unfortunately for San Antonio,
got whooped.
Kawhi continued his rehab while his teammates got smoked in 5 games. Not that
Look at this, man. Look at the face. This really pissed me off, man. Look, this is so sad. This was such a good squad too, bro. This was such a good squad. God. And I mean, I love our team now, but man, these are some killers. Every one of these guys are winners. Tony Parker, Danny Green, Manu, Patty, LaMarcus. All these guys are winners, man. Is that Rudy? I think that's Rudy. I can't tell behind this net.
Antonio, Kawhi continued his rehab while his teammates got smoked in 5 games. Not that a hobbled Leonard would have slowed down the eventual champions, but his absence from even showing love from the bench wasn't the best look. Since Kawhi no-showed the entire series, Pop was left to fill in the blanks, and the man didn't mince his words. After a Game 1 loss, Pop was asked about the possibility of Kawhi appearing in the playoffs, and immediately shot back, saying there was a question.
I remember this. This one I was like, oh my God. This is when I lost I lost love for Kawhi right before Game 1, but this is where I was like, oh no, I despise this dude. You'll have to ask Kawhi and his group that question. So far, they say that he's not ready to go, so we can't do anything until that happens. That's ridiculous, bro. You got to communicate with your team. Like, that is awful.
For his group. Pop's continued vagueness on Kawhi's status made it even more apparent that he was truly just as clueless as the reporters questioning him. And if you couldn't tell, Pop was growing more frustrated by the day. A direct shot at Kawhi cleared up any confusion. After dropping 34 points in Game 2, Pop made a point to shout out LaMarcus Aldridge for being a dependable teammate who happened.
Oh, subliminals. LaMarcus has been a monster all year long. He's led our team at both ends of the floor. He doesn't complain about a darn thing out on the court. I don't think that's a shot. He just plays through everything. I can't imagine being more proud of a player as far as playing through adversity. Okay, yeah, that's a yeah. And being there for his teammates night after night after night. He's been fantastic. Yeah, that's a shot.
Really put in the work without complaints. When it comes to beef, that ain't even a sneak diss. It's a straight jab, and Pop really didn't deny it. Nonetheless, Kawhi's future with the Spurs became even more of a hot topic in the offseason, fueled by an ESPN report airing out all grievances from both sides. Among the mess-filled report, revelations found that disagreements over Kawhi's exact diagnosis popped off this long, puzzling saga, and it wasn't necessarily a new issue. Years earlier, Kawhi struggled with a wrist injury, and his reps at the time, agents Mitch Frankel and Brian Elfis, pushed for a second opinion, which San Antonio eventually caved on and allowed. Elfis was Kawhi's agent from the jump and kept a strong relationship with the move makers in San Antonio. But after he dipped in 2016, Uncle Dennis and Frankel took over, causing a shift in the relationship so severe, Buford became restless, potentially watching his homegrown star slip through their hands. Not to bore you with medical jargon, but in this instance, Kawhi's can't believe his injury resulted from multiple bruises dating back to 2016, causing the muscles to harden. The Spurs, on the other hand, had always labeled it a tendon problem, and since both required unique treatment, this agreement spiraled into beef. While it was important that their superstar felt comfortable, the franchise grew tired of Kawhi's camp being the ultimate decision makers, leaving the team powerless waiting for the next move. The Spurs were stuck in their ways.
They were full of it. They were just trying to find a way out of San Antonio. Like, it's nothing you can do with that. Like, some people, this is where I was saying, and I said this so many times, so many people say, well, if it wasn't Zaza, like Zaza, he ruined everything. After the Zaza incident, everything went down. No. It was Uncle Dennis trying to get Kawhi out of the San Antonio Spurs, out of San Antonio by any means necessary. I hate Zaza Pachulia just like the next guy, okay? I can't stand him. He's disgusting. But this right here, this isn't the same. This is a little different.
To adjust, and Kawhi wasn't really feeling it. For years, the Spurs saw Kawhi as the ideal successor to Tim Duncan, both in his hunger for greatness and nonchalant personality. And for a period of time, San Antonio believed that could still be a reality. As the 2018 NBA draft neared, Kawhi and Pop were reportedly expected to link up and solve their problems. Although for Popovich, everything was small in comparison to his life outside of basketball. Pop was mourning the recent passing of his wife Erin, and the scheduled meeting with Kawhi was just 3 weeks removed from her funeral. Kawhi attended Erin's service to show support of his coach, proving their relationship wasn't completely broken.
Oh, that's right. He did attend it. I think he also called Pop as well. Let me see. Leonard attended the private memorial service for Popovich's late wife, Erin.
Service to show support of his coach.
After the season ended and he interacted with team officials.
Proving their relationship wasn't completely broken. The idea that the two were ready to officially sit down with each other was a step in the right direction, and their timing couldn't be more essential. With the 2018 draft coming, Kawhi's contract looming, and rival teams drooling at the thought of his availability, the clock was ticking. San Antonio reportedly wanted to throw a bag at Kawhi, but obviously not before making sure everything was Gucci from all sides. The Spurs didn't give a damn about trade offers, and were ready to roll the dice with their embattled star next season if it came to. So this meeting between Kawhi and Pop was crucial. Fans hoped Pop could work his magic just like he did to help convince Duncan.
Are they going to bring up the fact that Popovich met with Kawhi, but guess what? Uncle Dennis was there, and he spoke the entire time.
Stay in 2000, except Kawhi purposely kept ducking Pop in the Spurs. It seemed like an out-of-character move, but by then, Leonard was fed up with the mishandling of his injury and how the franchise switched on him. Kawhi wasn't fond of the public comments throwing salt on his name, especially Parker's 100 times worse dig. Although Kawhi hadn't directly requested a trade from the Spurs just yet, in the eyes of these unnamed sources, it appeared no amount of money would cover the Spurs' betrayal. Throughout the Popovich era, despite San Antonio being a small market,
did they not mention
arguably the NBA's most vanilla team.
Okay, so for some more information, Popovich actually did meet with Kawhi. He wanted to meet with Kawhi in private, but Uncle Dennis showed up, and Uncle Dennis basically spoke the entire time.
The franchise took great pride in its player relations. After nearly 2 weeks, Pop eventually did meet with Kawhi in hopes of a last-ditch effort that Leonard would have a change of heart, but the relationship seemed beyond repair. The franchise accepted it was time to move on.
Okay, they still didn't mention it. Yes, it was Uncle Dennis who talked to Pop the entire time. I know this for a fact, by the way.
No prominent Spur before Leonard forced his way out in such a way, but the franchise that sustained success for so long started to watch the league evolve in front of their eyes. If Kawhi felt the Spurs were stubborn in their ways, it was his prerogative to protect his health. I'll be damned if I let someone make money off my back if I'm not 100%. While the end of a prosperous era toppled in a matter of months, resulting in a blockbuster trade, it pointed to the new reality of the NBA, leaving the Spurs in the dust. Kawhi reportedly preferred to land in LA, and while that didn't happen immediately, he got his wish the very next year, but it didn't come without slimy business moves. Throughout facilitating deals for his kinfolk, the NBA launched an investigation against Uncle Dennis for violating rules where Robertson reportedly tried getting outrageous benefits all to himself. The league investigation gave legitimacy to San Antonio's claim that Dennis had ulterior motives all along. But
wait. What? I didn't know about this. Hold on, guys. Are you serious? The stories about Robertson's wish list made their way to the league office soon after Leonard made his decision. What? With concerned parties reporting that Leonard's uncle had asked pursuing teams for much more than a max contract. Oh, wait. I do know about this. Okay. Sources say the league was told that Robertson asked team officials for part ownership of the team. Oh, a private plane. I forgot about this. A private plane that will be available at all times, a house, and a last but certainly not least, a guaranteed amount of off-court endorsement money that they could expect if Leonard played for their team. Wow. This is absolutely insane. This was never going to work with the Spurs. I'm sorry. If anyone says that you need to, like, the Spurs should have bowed down to Uncle Dennis and gave him a house, a private jet, part ownership of the team. I don't think, and guaranteed off-court endorsements. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm sorry. Nobody's worth that. Unless Kawhi Leonard is literally Michael Jordan or something. I don't know.
But they spoke to Robertson's brash negotiation skills that he would ask for part ownership in a private plane on command. You never know until you ask. It's hard sending off a player you watch develop in front of your eyes, but Pop understood it was time to close their chapter together. Leonard eventually released a statement, and not saying that his feelings towards San Antonio were...
And by the way, I don't know if you guys remember this whole thank you thing. It was, and I don't know if this guy's going to be able to cover this, but it was very disrespectful. Like, if you read it on, like, face value, you think, oh, okay, he's just saying thank you. No. During this time, before this statement was released, actually, it was a lot of Spurs fans that were upset because Kawhi didn't say anything. There was a period that went by, and they were like, "What the heck? Like, you screwed us over." Because it was a lot of screwing us over. Let's just be honest. He screwed us over, and then after it, a lot of Spurs fans were like, "Dang, you're not even gonna say thank you or that you appreciate the franchise." And that was a continuous narrative, and that was also a continuous narrative in Kawhi's sister's Instagram. I think she blocked me. I don't know, but it was a continuous thing in her Instagram in which people would comment that all the time. They're like, wow, he's not even gonna say thank you. So me personally, I think that kind of made rounds. I doubt that Kawhi even made this statement. I'm pretty sure that made rounds around his camp, and this was a kind of F you. So, and you can even see like the emphasis, this isn't by mistake, the emphasis on thank you. That's because of the narrative that was going around Spurs fans at the time. So you can see thank you to every one of my teammates I've played with over the 7 years in the NBA. Thank you, Pop. I'll always be grateful for my growth under your guidance. Thank you to the fans. There is no more passionate or dedicated fan base than it was kind of a subliminal hit that a lot of Spurs fans caught on to. So no one accepted this, by the way.
Were fake, but it's hard to believe it took several weeks to put thank you in all caps to drive.
Wait a minute. Oh, he is gonna. Okay, maybe I should allow him to talk.
And not saying that his feelings towards San Antonio were fake, but it's hard to believe it took several weeks to put thank you in all caps to drive home how appreciative he was. While Kawhi's infamous laugh stole the show at his introductory press conference in Toronto, he didn't have any bad blood with the Spurs and instead wanted to focus on his new journey. The 2018-19 season presented a fresh opportunity for both Kawhi and the Spurs, but getting over your ex can be difficult. In November 2018, Pop was asked about Patty Mills filling the leadership void left by Leonard, and Pop responded coldly, saying Kawhi was never a leader. When word got back to Leonard, Kawhi thought his former head coach's comments were funny.
This is rough. That is true, by the way. Kawhi was not necessarily like the leader of the team on the court, obviously. But I mean, that was like one season. But he wasn't the leader of the team. That was Patty and Manu and those guys. It's funny to me because look. look, I'm sorry. The way that Kawhi went about this whole situation with San Antonio, I'm sorry. No, he wasn't a leader. I don't care. I don't care what anyone says. It's funny to me. Wait, he might read himself.
Not funny like a clown, but more in the sense that people started acting up when he wasn't around. Throughout the perplexing events that led to their eventual fallout, besides Kawhi calling out things he thought were funny that clearly weren't, he rarely expressed his true feelings and allowed his camp to steer the narrative. When he responded directly to Pop, it showed Kawhi was hurt by the person he once shared a special bond with. And a few months later, the two had to settle their differences on the floor in a highly anticipated showdown.
I don't even think Pop was that bad about it. By the way, this was an absolute banger, man. This was a banger. This was a banger. The second one sucked. It was a good game. The second one sucked. But the first one, man, it was a banger. DeMar DeRozan was like, man, some of the moves he made. Let me see if I can find any of it. Hold on. I'm going to see what I can find. I'm going to keep playing this video, and I'm going to research over here while you guys watch this.
Kawhi's return to San Antonio became the ideal moment for Spurs fans to become Hall of Fame haters, booing Leonard whenever possible. The wrath aimed at Kawhi reached its boiling point midway through the second quarter when the packed-out crowd serenaded Leonard with chants of... Watching 18,000 pissed-off fans come together and execute a spiteful chant in unison showed how the San Antonio faithful were accustomed to nothing but strict loyalty.
This was so dope. Today is my 11th birthday. My B-Day wish... a win versus Kawhi. Kawhi not. This was so dope, man. Such a great game. It was so much fun. Even watching it from home, like you can just feel the vibes there.
From their stars. Spurs fans were victorious in watching their home team thrash the Raptors as Kawhi put on an average performance by his standards. But despite the boos from the crowd, Pop and Kawhi shared a warm embrace following the game. And it wasn't your typical dap followed by a quick hug. The two held on to each other, both flashing smiles, showing that maybe everything was good. Pop struggled to diminish the importance of the reunion before the game, but felt awful about the fan reactions towards Kawhi, saying he deserved better. Kawhi didn't seem bothered, and rather thrived in the moment, insisting that it would only make him better. Leonard was of course forced to acknowledge the root of his shocking departure, but kept it short and sweet, saying he probably wouldn't speak on it until after retirement. Watching Kawhi and Pop hug at midcourt inspired hope that maybe over time their relationship could properly heal. But this beef was never about Kawhi and Pop. It involved the entire Spurs organization and Kawhi's group bickering through back channels, leading to a ridiculous drama-filled season where Kawhi felt he had no other choice but to leave San Antonio. When the Raptors and the Spurs faced off again in the 2018-19 season, Kawhi kept the same attitude that nothing was special about playing against his old team. Just another game. It seemed like Kawhi would never truly provide the answers that everyone desperately craved. But of course, Uncle Dennis was always there to pick up the pieces. In a May 2019 interview, Robertson detailed to Yahoo Sports that Kawhi lost his faith in the Spurs and the relationship couldn't be recovered once their trust was broken.
Oh, isn't that great? Thanks for speaking for Kawhi again.
Robertson believed the Spurs were looking out for themselves by rushing Kawhi back to the court instead of allowing him the time he needed. For Kawhi, he focused more on proving his doubters wrong, capturing Toronto's first title in franchise history while earning Finals MVP in the process. Kawhi's glorious year in Toronto proved to be a successful bet on himself, but yet, years removed from the Spurs and playing for an entirely different org, San Antonio fans still rained down.
I found the clip. I can't like play it full screen because of copyright, but hold on, let me do normal. He is crazy. He splits the defense between, like, he was unreal in this game. He split the defense between his legs, and then Euro step for a beautiful shot. Let me show you. I think it's this next one. Yeah, look at this. Between the legs, Euro. Oh my God. That's so sick. Hold on, one more time. Look at this. So you can see them double teaming him. He was just out of his way. He had Forbes wide open over here. Look, between legs, Euro, can't stop me. He went off in this game, dog. Oh my gosh.
Booze on Leonard whenever he came into town. Kawhi never took it personally and understood fans will ride for their team no matter what. But outside of the court, Kawhi still felt appreciated by the people of San Antonio. As Kawhi tried to move forward, Spurs fans had no hesitation reverting back to their hating-ass ways whenever presented with an opportunity.
Hey, why you put it that way? Why did he say it that way?
That's sports fandom for you, baby. As for Kawhi and Pop, over the years, the two continued showing love to each other after games, and although he ultimately didn't play because of injury, Kawhi planned on joining the Tokyo Olympics, coached by Pop, indicating their relationship was healing. In most situations, there's three sides to every story. Your side?
Look, Pop isn't going to hold on to any animosity here. I personally, look, as far as like this whole ordeal, obviously Kawhi is his own person. He should have took control of his own dynasty, or not dynasty, but his own legacy, whatever, however you want to put it. But I think Kawhi Leonard, I mean, he is definitely at fault. I mean, he is the star. But Uncle Dennis, it just feels like there's kind of a, he has some control over Kawhi. I mean, it's no doubt about it. He has control over Kawhi. I'm not even going to say he's a terrible manager for Kawhi. It's just he's a great manager for Kawhi in the sense that he's in it for just Kawhi. And I know that managers are typically like that, but at the same time, usually managers try to make things work pretty well with the franchise. I never got that vibe from him. Like he's just so in it for himself to the point where he would allow Kawhi to go to New York and not even allow the San Antonio Spurs to have communication with him. Like, it's absolutely insane what this guy's doing. And it even shows today that I think Kawhi really is suffering the consequences of this whole ordeal because he still can't remain healthy. And I think that this is just my opinion, okay? I'm not a professional here, but I feel like if the treatment was more focused under the scope of the San Antonio Spurs, especially someone like Popovich, who will allow you to rest like insanely, I think that he would have had more good times at this point than he has thus far. Don't get me wrong. He went to Toronto, won a championship, right? We can sit here and we can say, well, you know, KD was hurt. Clay got hurt. All that is true. But at the end of the day, he does have that championship on his resume. But with that being said, I think he would have had many more. Since that championship has been nothing. So I think he would have had many more good times with the Spurs if he would have just stuck it out. But I don't know.
The other person's side and the truth of what actually happened. But as Kawhi chose his spots before fully closing the door shut on expressing his true feelings, this feud went far beyond that concept, which left us constantly grasping on to the absurd pieces surrounding one of the most unique beefs in NBA history.
Good video. I think that was a pretty good video. He missed a few things in there. Don't get me wrong, he did miss a few things, but for the most part, it was pretty doggone accurate. Like, one thing he missed was the fact that Pop did meet with, I mean, he did say he met with Kawhi, but he met with Kawhi, and on top of it, Uncle Dennis was there, and that's what made it all, like, suck. And then he also missed the fact that, what was the other thing that he missed? The thank you letter. Yeah, so the thank you letter, he did highlight the fact that it's ridiculous that it took you this long just to say thank you, but at the time, this was actually a subliminal hit to the San Antonio Spurs with those thank yous as well, because San Antonio Spurs fans were really upset that they heard nothing, and that was kind of a continuous thing going around, like, can you even say thank you? And he said, yeah, I can say thank you a lot. So, yeah, it was ugly, very ugly situation. I'm over it now. Like, I had this thing like put away quite a bit, this Kawhi Leonard figure. Like, I had it put away quite a bit, but over the last few seasons, I've actually come to terms with, you know, he was a big part of Spurs history, you know. And while I hate that it went down this way, I would be lying if I said that one of my favorite, or I would be lying if I said 2017 wasn't my favorite or one of my favorite years watching the San Antonio Spurs. Like, by far, I had so much. I caught every single game, and man, that shot against the who was it? I'm sleepy. The Hornets. Oh my gosh, dude! The three on the nay, and then right down the court and blocked James Harden. That was just so sick. Like, one of the best seasons ever. For me as a Spurs fan, but some things come to an end. By the way, was that the same season or was that 2016? Hold on, I don't want to get this mixed up. I guess I need to just say having Kawhi, period, was a lot of fun. Actually, let me... Kawhi, block, Nene... Wait, no. Block, Harden. Maybe that was 2016, because I think Duncan was on that team. Was Duncan on that team? No, it was 2017. I was right. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. I remember because he blocked him, and then your boy LaMarcus Aldridge was going to get the rebound, and then Kawhi got the rebound too. Absolutely ball. Oh, God, such a monster, dude. Oh, my God, dude. Oh, my God. All right. Anyways, if you guys want to support the channel, as always, clanthemerchfan.com, link in the description, or become a patron, a YouTube member, only $2 a month. I'll give it to you guys later. Until next time, bye.